Okay. Can you all hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So we'll start the session. Okay. We'll look at the embedded sentences today. We're looking at question clauses, if and whether clauses, and that clause particularly. Okay. So although these are what they're called, we are essentially again looking at. Do not forget what we did for the clauses worksheet, right? So basically, the idea here would be that you know three things. First is that you are able to differentiate between what is an independent clause and a dependent clause or a subordinate clause, as they are referred to in most of your lectures, I guess. And second thing is that you have the ability to synthesize the sentence given to you. What do we mean by synthesize? We mean that you should be able to break down a given sentence, no matter how long, no matter how many subordinate clauses are a part of it. You should be able to break down that sentence into the subject of that sentence, the main verb of that sentence, and the object if there is any available. Okay. So this process is very important so that you understand how the kinds of clauses and the functions of the clauses involved are, how they are involved in the construction of a sentence. And the third thing is, of course, the function of the subordinate clauses. So if there is a presence of a subordinate clause in a given sentence, then you should also know what it functions as, right? So if it appears usually at the subject or the object position, then it has a nominal function to perform. So most of the times, those subordinate clauses would be a noun clause, right? They'll act like a noun. And if it is more like something that adds additional information to a given noun, then it is adjectival in nature. And then if it informs you more about the time, place, manners, reason, condition, so on and so forth, then it has to be adverbial in nature, right? So that is how I think this is what we discussed while we were looking at the classification and while we were looking at the different types of subordinate clauses in the previous session on clause, right? So in this one, we are not looking at then the types of clauses. We are looking at what type of these, what kind of this clause can actually take up our construction. There are several ways in which you can construct these noun clauses and adverbial clauses and adjectival clauses, right? So while they do the perform the function of a noun or an adjective and a noun, they could also appear in various forms, right? So they can appear in the form of a question clause, they can appear in the form of an if and whether clause, they can also appear in the form of a that clause, right? So while the function is usually distributed between that of an adverbial, adjectival, and noun clause, the forms in which these subordinate clause of subordinate noun clause or subordinate adjectival clause or subordinate adverbial clause may appear could be different. And what are these different forms? They could either appear as question clauses, if and whether clauses, and that clauses. Most commonly these three. There could be more forms in which they appear, but most commonly this, right? So know the distinction, what we mean by types of clauses and forms of clauses, right? Forms are different variations of the same thing. Um, but types is usually dependent on the function they perform, right? So forms are not based on functions; they are based on the structure alone. Okay. Okay. I hope you have understood that difference. If you have any question, please ask me. But this is what we are going to do. And embedded sentences, do not get confused by these, many terminologies that show up in the module. They're basically one and the same thing, right? So if you, whether you call it a principal clause and a subordinate clause, or you call it a dependent or an independent clause, or you call it a matrix clause and an embedded clause, they all mean the same thing, right? Embedding is basically any subordinate clauses embedded within a larger independent clause, right? That's all the process of embedding means, or embedded clause for that matter only means that. Different authors and grammarians prefer using different terms based on the reasons that's best known to them. So we don't have to bother too much about it. As long as you understand the distinction between an independent and dependent clause, rest of them are just a difference in the terminologies. That's all. Okay. So before we look at the exercises, I have like a quick warm-up exercise for you so that we go back to that, uh, you know, the fundamentals of subordinate and principal clause construction, which is the identification of whether a given sentence is simple, compound, or complex, right? So if a sentence has both the dependent and independent clause, then what kind of sentence would it be?
Ma'am, complex.
Complex sentence, right? So that is what we are going to identify in the first uh, exercise, right? So you have 5 questions. Let's look at each one of them and quickly try and understand whether they're complex, simple, or compound. Okay. First one, I know what she wants. I know what she wants. So this is also a test on whether you understand how you can synthesize a statement into a sentence into subject, verb, and object if available. Okay. So I know what she wants. What do you think it is? Is it complex or compound or simple? What is it?
And complex.
Okay. Why is it complex? Could you please tell me that as well?
And the sentence is one independent sentence, I know, and
Yeah.
one dependent, that is what she wants. Sentence. That's it.
Okay. So this is a complex sentence because you have in the object position of the sentence you have a subordinate clause, right? I know what she wants. I is the subject of the sentence. Know is the verb in the sentence. And what she wants is basically the object of the verb know, right? This particular part is the object of the verb, right? And which verb? Object of the verb know. So because this is more than, an entity, this has its own subject, it has its own verb. We call it a clause. This is a dependent clause. And because this has a subordinate clause within it, this is a complex sentence. Okay, just to revise, I know most of you might know, but in case there are people who still haven't understood, just for that sake, I'll go over some of this. Okay. Then second one, she goes to the market.
Ma'am, independent.
She goes to the market is what? Sorry.
Independent.
It is
Simple
independent,
sentence.
but it is a simple sentence, right? It is a simple sentence. Simple sentence because it has one subject, one verb, and an object. In this case, no object because go is an intransitive verb, right? So to the market is what we call as the not the adjunct, but this is the object complement. Okay. All right. Then you have the third one. The idea that we should register for the conference is good.
Complex
Simple.
sentence.
Ma'am, simple. Simple sentence.
Sorry.
Ma'am, simple sentence. Independent
The
clause.
idea that we should register for the conference is it simple, compound, complex?
I think this is complex
Why is this complex?
because the idea that is dependent and we should register for the conference is good.
Uh,
It is independent.
that is independent, but this which if it is complex, then it should have a subordinate version, right? Subordinate clause. Sorry.
So
So
the
what is your
idea that
subordinate? Ah,
the idea that is dependent.
the idea that we should register for the conference. So is the uh, whole of that your subordinate clause, or only a part of it is your subordinate clause?
Part part of
So which part? Which part?
the idea that
No. That we should register for the conference, right? That is co-indexed with the idea, right? This part is your subordinate clause. So because you can remove this part, maybe you can strike off this whole part and read the sentence now. The idea is good. Is this a good sentence? Independent clause? Yes, no?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is your actual sentence, and to this one, you have added a subordinate clause associated with the subject, the idea, right? So this part of whatever is highlighted on your screen, that is your subordinate clause. The idea is your subject, is your verb, and good is a complement, right? Subject complement. Okay.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
but it is little confusion because we should register for the conference is good. I
Hmm.
think it can be a good sentence like independent sentence.
That we
But
should register for the conference
no,
is
no,
good.
that don't remove that. Only just
Uh,
consider from B. We should register
yeah,
for the
that is a
conference.
good sentence, but then when it is a part of another sentence, you cannot remove the subordinating conjunction that has to come along with the clause. Okay, because every time you pick out the subordinating clause, it should have the conjunction along with it. That is not a different entity. It is because of this also that the next part has become the subordinating
So,
conjunction.
so why
Actually,
we are not adding that with the idea?
because it's not a part of it. Why would you add the idea that is, so you add that to the idea that is good is an incomplete sentence, right? That is not doing any function there. It's a ungrammatical entity. I mean, if you add that to it, then you won't have a grammatical sentence. That is there only to to join the part we should register for the conference with the idea. Okay,
Uh, okay, okay. We need
that's
to see
performing
also
the
the sentence should be grammatical correct.
okay,
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
yeah, all right. Then fourth one is Rakesh and Deepa would visit their friend in the evening. Rakesh and Deepa would visit their friend in the evening.
Simple sentence.
What is this? Sorry.
Simple.
Simple.
Simple, right? Simple. It has a compound subject, but then the sentence itself is simple, right? It has one subject, Rakesh and Deepa, and then the verb, and then the rest of the part, the object. Okay, then fifth one, I wish, either you say, I wish that they could come and stay with us, or you can simply say, I wish they could come and stay with us. So there's another distinction called the restricted and non-restricted clause, but I don't think you have it for the uh, I mean, in the lecture, it doesn't specifically talk to you about restricted. So I'm not bringing it in. But there are certain clauses in English where that is compulsory. You have to add that in order to have a grammatical sentence. But then you have sentences like this where that is optional. Okay. But whatever that is, we will not get into the details of that. Is this a simple compound or a complex sentence?
Complex.
This is a complex sentence, right? Even if you remove that, we know that the rest of the thing that you have after the verb wish is the object of the verb wish here. I wish what? I wish either you say I wish that they could come and stay with us, or you say they could come and stay with us. In either cases, with or without that, the rest of the section, the rest of the clause that you see is it acts as the object of the verb wish in that sentence, right? So this is again a complex sentence. Okay, clear? We'll move ahead with the next set of question, which is where
But
we are going.
in this sentence, in fifth sentence, which is dependent sentence, which is dependent,
Now, which is the dependent sentence? They could come and stay with us, right? That's a dependent. This is the subordinate clause. Okay.
okay, ma'am.
Hmm. Where is it? Yeah. Which among the following sentences are ungrammatical? Now, what we are going to do is we are going to look at question clauses, if and whether clauses and that clauses in this exercise. But essentially, we are trying to learn their construction and we are also trying to look at what is the grammatically right way of doing that, right? Now, since these clauses are a little complex for non-natives or people who usually use English as second language or foreign language, there is something that you call as the mother tongue interference, right? So if your first language is not English and you speak a different language, this is the case with most of us, at least in our context. Um, there are certain constructions, um, especially when it comes to constructions that are related to questions, right? Because the way we construct questions in our language is very different from how it happens in English, right? The theoretical process, the underlying process of how we how our brain processes an interrogative sentence is very different from English. So because of this, because of the difference of how we do it in our language, there could be problems in the way we construct question clauses in English, right? Because in English, construction of a question clause and construction of a question sentence, which is an interrogative sentence, are two different things. Okay, so we look at it. We look at the grammar of how it is done, and sometimes we know certain answers are wrong or right by intuition, which is okay, but we should also know how this happens grammatically, right? In case. So this we have about a set of 20 or 22 questions in this exercise. So we are going to look at each of the sentence and we are going to judge their grammaticality. Basically, we are going to see if they're grammatically right. And if they are wrong, why they are wrong. Okay. So in the process, we'll also look at the construction of question clause, if and whether and that case. Okay. So first question here, I would like to know what he likes to study. What do you think? Is the sentence right or wrong? I would like to know what he likes to study.
I think it is wrong because
Ah,
after he, it should be like, not likes.
I would like to know what he liked to study. No? Why?
And it's correct,
Because,
ma'am.
because it is
He likes to study, right? Because
introspection.
third person singular needs to have the S form with it. So it's right only. He likes to study is right.
Then it is
It
incorrect
is
because we should use sign of interrogation in place of full stop.
No, sorry, I can't hear you. What is it?
When the sentence is grammatically
Ah,
wrong because we should use sign of interrogation question mark in
why?
place of full stop.
No, but this is not a question. Am I asking a question? I would like to know what he likes to study. Is that a question? Or is it a statement? I'm making a statement, right? I'm not asking you
Yeah.
any. See, in English, you have two types of questions, right? One is the yes or no questions, wherein the answer is either in yes or no. And then you also have what you call as the content question, right? The WH
Yes,
question, the one which begins with WH, with an exception of how, but then how also has both W and H. So these are called content questions, to which you will have some answer, like, what, why, when, where,
yes,
all of that. So these are the only two possible way of asking questions in English. Okay, and then you also have the do does, but they're included under the yes or no category, right? So these are the only ways in which you can form interrogative sentences in English. This is not a way to ask a question. Okay, so I would like to know what he likes to study is a sentence. It's not a question.
Yeah,
Or
right, ma'am.
okay. So this sentence is grammatically right. Okay. Now we'll understand why this is grammatically right when we look at other questions, right? So I would like to know what is the subject of your sentence here? I would like to know the first question.
I
I. Okay. I would like to know what he likes to study. So I is your subject here. And what is the verb?
know,
Is it just no?
Like to,
like to know.
Would like to know, right? This is a serial verb formation. So
would like
you
to.
take the whole of that compound. There's a verb compound there. So I is your subject and would like to know. This is your
Model verb.
verb. And then the rest, what he likes to study is what? What he likes to study is what?
When object,
It's the object of the verb no. Okay. So the main verb, of course, like you said, is no. But since it's in a compound formation, if somebody asks you what is the verb, you'll have to say would like to know. And then the rest of what you have, what he likes to study, is the object of the verb no. Okay. And this one is what you call as the question clause. So whenever you have a WH word, right? It could be what or where or how or when, um, any of those. Whenever you have this WH word as a part of your subordinate clause, those kinds of clause, those forms of the clause are referred to as question clauses. Okay. Simple thing, just because it has a question word, we name it a question clause. That's all. Okay. So I would like to know what he likes to study. This is right. Okay. grammatically sound. Now I'll tell you why this is grammatically sound when we encounter the wrong one. Okay, we'll continue for now. Second one, I wonder where I left my jacket. I wonder where I left my jacket.
Ma'am, it is also correct.
This is also right. So you have I as the subject, wonder as the verb, and then you have where I left my jacket. This is a question clause again with where in it. And this is the object of the verb, wonder, right? So it's also right. Okay, grammatically right. Now, third one, would you tell
Uh,
me if Sheetal would attend the meeting?
it is incorrect, ma'am.
This is incorrect.
Nice, ma'am.
Would you tell me if Sheetal would attend the meeting? Is this right or wrong?
That's
Wrong.
correct.
Correct only, right? Would you tell me if Sheetal would attend the meeting? Okay, or in another, this is a polite way. You can also ask, can you tell me if Sheetal would attend the meeting? Then it is a little less formal, that's all. Okay.
But it should be like, would you tell me that instead of if there should be that, I think. Would
Would
you
you
tell
tell
me
me?
that
No, why would
Sita?
you use that? If you use that, it becomes wrong. Could you tell me that if? No, that will not serve here. That is used only when you are you're you show additional information or you show co-indexation when you want to show that the subordinate clause and the subject in question are one and the same, like in the previous case, right? The idea that uh, we should register for the conference is good. So that we should register for the conference and the idea are actually one and the same thing. The the subordinate clause that we should register for the conference is basically just an expansion of what this idea is. So either in this case or in the case where you want to give additional information, okay, in the form of an adjectival clause. These are the two places where you use it, but that we do not use in constructions like this. Would you tell me that Sheetal would attend the meeting? No. So this is what is called MI, okay, mother tongue inference, MTI. We have constructions like that in our language. So we have a tendency to carry it onto the second language, but this is not how it works. In English, we don't have it. And more importantly, you already have if, right, which is a subordinating conjunctions. If you use that, again, two of them together we cannot use in a sentence. It has to be either if or that. But because that is grammatically incorrect here, if is more suitable, right? If Sheetal would attend the meeting, would you tell me if Sheetal would attend? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Means
Yeah.
usually in my speaking, I use that in
Ah,
this situation.
so you shouldn't, right? So this is because not a fault, but this usually happens, and it's not just applicable to us. Anybody who uses a language other than this one as a first language, whether that's Hindi or Tamil or whatever it is, you will face this problem. But we don't have this problem when we try to speak our own languages. So, like if a Hindi speaker learns Tamil or vice versa, they will not have this problem because most of our languages share those features. But English is from a very different family, language family, and we don't share features with it as much as we do it with our languages. So this problem arises. Keep this in mind. Would you tell me if Sheetal would attend the meeting? It's the right sentence, grammatically okay. Then fourth one, what will you wear for the evening? What will you wear for the evening?
Ma'am, this is also correct.
Is also okay? Yeah.
Yes,
What will you wear for the evening is also fine, right? So we don't have any other problems here. So this is a straightforward interrogative sentence, right? No issues. Fifth one, I
Ma'am, it
asked,
can be, ma'am, it can be like that. What will you wear in
hmm,
the evening? Can we say?
what will you wear in the evening? No. What will you wear in the evening? No, it's usually not a conventional way of asking. You generally ask, what are you wearing for the evening or what will you wear for the evening? Uh, Not in the evening. That prepositional use is wrong here. Okay. Then, fifth one is I asked, what did you wear for the evening? Yeah. I asked, what did you wear for the evening?
ma'am, incorrect.
Why
Correct.
is it incorrect again? This is incorrect. Why is it incorrect?
When full stop is there, that's why.
Full stop is there? No, no. So this is not a punctuation related exercise. I think none of the sentences will have that problem. The problem is
Using
more with the
did.
construction.
Using did.
So did is the problem. So look at this question clause. Compare question clause in sentence number 1. What he likes to study, right? This one, and look at the question clause here. What is the difference that you see here? Even if one is in present tense and past tense, okay, that I understand. But otherwise, what difference do you see here?
Is it like reported and like
What he likes to study and what did you wear for the evening? I'm asking you a more, more a deeper question than whether it is this part or that part.
Ma'am, we should use does in place of did.
Not do.
Where?
I think we should use do.
No. That we don't have to. See, these are sentences in two different tenses. That is fine. Okay, one is in present tense and the other is in past tense. That's fine. But if you look at the structure itself of that clause, what difference do you see? Is my question. What he likes to study. Okay. So do we say what does he like to study? No, right? We see what he likes to study. But in fifth sentence, what you see is what did you wear for the evening, right? And we are saying that this is ungrammatical. So what is the difference between the first clause and the second one?
So
The highlighted
in
clause.
first there is no helping verb, but here we are using helping verb did.
Sorry, come again. The second one, what are we using?
We are using helping verb did.
Did. Yes. Okay. So we have the helping verb. In the first one, we don't have it. Okay. And we are saying that the first one is right, but the fifth one is wrong. Okay. Difference is helping verb. So what is this helping verb? What role is it performing in this one?
It helps us to identify situation. It is in the past or future or
No,
present.
no, more grammatical. There's a grammatical unit that this particular auxiliary verb is representing. What is that? I just told you. Past tense, right? It shows you the tense. Tense,
Yes,
right?
sir. I also want to say this.
Correct. So in the first clause, in the first question, the question clause that we have, the tense is separated from the verb, or is it not separated from the verb? As in,
Ma'am,
is
it
it
is
on the verb or is it outside the verb?
not separated. It is
Not separated. It is on the verb, right? So likes, what he likes to study. We're not saying what does he like to study. If you say what does he like to study, then it cannot be a question clause. That becomes a question, right? What we need is a question clause here. Now that's the reason why in the fifth sentence, we have got it grammatically wrong, because this is a clause and clause cannot be in the format of a question sentence, right? So what did you wear for the evening? This is a question or is it a clause?
and clause.
No,
Question.
what did you wear for the evening? Is it a question or a clause?
A question.
It's a question, right? So that question cannot be a part of the sentence. Questions are independent. They have to be put forth independently. The reason here is that what did you wear for the evening is in the form of a question. Question clauses usually will not be in the form of a question. It has to be in the form of a declarative sentence or a clause, right? And to convert this into a clause, what we have to do, we do exactly the same thing that you see in the first question, what he likes to study. So we will not separate the tense from the verb, right? We'll put the tense on the verb itself. So if I have to do that, then what do I do in question number 5? What is the verb of the clause here? What did you wear for the evening? Verb.
Where
Where. Yeah, where is the verb? So if I have to add the tense to it, then what do I do? It is in past tense, so I have to change it to past tense, right? To remove it from there. Wore, right? I'll change where to wore. So if I have to grammatically make this right, this question clause right, then I have to rewrite it as what you wore for
what
the
you
evening.
wore. Yeah.
Which is the right answer is in actually question number 6, right? I asked what you wore for the evening. So remember, in question clause, because it is a clause, we cannot frame it like a question. Even though it carries the question word, it is not the question itself. And how can you save it from becoming a question and keeping it a clause? That is, we'll ensure that the verb in the clause and the tense of the clause is not separated, right? Which means the verb will carry the tense on itself, whether past, present, or future. Is that clear?
So, ma'am, firstly, we need to identify the sentence is a simple clause or complex clause. So,
Hmm.
this is a complex clause. That's why we are doing this thing. If it is simple,
Only
like
complex clauses will, sorry, complex sentences will have these kind of clauses. Question clauses, if and whether clause, that clause, they're usually only found in complex sentences. Simple sentences will not have them. Okay. Or even compound sentences will not have them. Only the complex sentences have subordinate clause. And
if I remove,
in case your subordinate clause is a question clause, then you, to judge whether it is grammatical or not, you only have to look at one thing, whether the verb in that question clause carries the tense or not. Okay. If the tense is separated from that verb, then it is an ungrammatical construction. For it to be grammatical, you have to ensure that the verb carries the tense on it. Okay. And that it's not separated like you see in the case of the fifth sentence. Did, right? Did is separated from where, and hence the sentence has become ungrammatical. Or rather, you have converted the clause into a question by separating the tense, right? So it is wrong. Got it?
ma'am, if I remove I asked, then it will be correct. I think. Am
Sorry,
I
what?
right?
Sorry,
If
come
I
again. What?
say,
Huh.
means if I say only what did you wear for the evening, then it will be correct.
Then it is correct. Then it is correct because then it is a question. No, then it is not a question clause. Question clause is applicable only when it becomes a part of a larger independent clause, right? Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. Others,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah. You understood, right? What's the difference between a question clause and a question? Question clause will only always be present as a part of the bigger sentence. It will be a part of it will be a subordinate clause which is a part of the independent clause. But question will not be a part of anything. It will be by itself. Like what did you wear for the evening is an interrogative sentence. It's a simple sentence. It's not a complex sentence. Understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So that is the thing. So we don't separate the tense from the verb when you have a question clause. Sixth one is the grammatical way of writing sentence number 5, right? So I asked what you wore for the evening. No separation of tense from the verb. You add it to the verb where itself and you have a grammatical construction. Okay. Now, if you have understood this thing, look at question number 7. I asked what did you wore for the evening? Is this okay?
Ma'am,
No,
incorrect.
we need to remove
This is
this.
incorrect, right? This is incorrect because you have two past tenses. So wore is already there, and then on top of that you have added did also. So double past construction is wrong. Now, sentence number 8. What did you want? What is this? Is this a simple sentence or a
No.
complex sentence?
What do you want?
What did you want? No, no. Tell me first if it is simple or complex.
Ma'am, simple sentence.
Simple.
Simple, right?
It
It's
is
a
only
simple
cost.
interrogative sentence. Simple interrogative sentence. What did you want? Now we'll look at whether it is right or wrong.
Ma'am, it is right.
It's right,
Correct.
right. What did you want? Okay, what
Yes,
did
ma'am.
you want? This is right. Okay. Then comes ninth one. I know what you wanted. I know what you want.
Ma'am, complex sentence.
Complex. And then
Hmm.
what is the question clause here? I know what you wanted.
What you wanted.
What you wanted, right? I know.
Yes, ma'am.
I know what? I know what you wanted. Okay. So is this grammatically all right?
Yes, ma'am.
This is all right. Yeah, because the tense is intact, right? Tense is on the verb and it is intact. So this is right. Then 10th one, I know
Ma'am,
what did you
I
want.
think someone has asked a doubt in the messages.
Sorry,
I think someone has asked a doubt in the messages.
in the messages. What if I write it? I asked that, what did you wear for? No, wrong. Still, it is wrong because you are adding tense to your clause, right? Sakshi. We are saying clauses should not carry, I mean, the verb in the question clause should not be separated from the tense. The tense should be on the verb itself. So when you're saying what did you, again, you are separating the tense out from where. Okay. So that would be wrong. So you'll have to say, I asked. That is unnecessary there. Even if you add, I think it's okay, but still you may not require it. So I asked what you wore for the evening. Okay. That's the right. Okay, so then the next one is what were we discussing? 10th one. I know what did you want? I know.
Ma'am, incorrect.
So incorrect.
Is wrong
This is incorrect again. Why?
Mm,
because
we
of
should,
It should be,
we should
no, it
not,
should be I
we should
I
not
know
use did.
you wanted.
The tense is out of the verb want, right? So the 9th one is the right version of this sentence.
yeah S.
So I know what you wanted and not I know what did you want. Okay. What did you want basically converts your question clause into a question sentence, right? So that's wrong. Okay. Now, 11th one, I don't know whether. So that is with the question clauses, okay? I hope you have understood. If you have any questions, please ask. There's only two things that you need to remember. Question clauses are part of an independent clause. They are subordinate clauses. Hence, you have to ensure that they don't sound like your interrogative questions where the tense is separated from the verb. So you say, what did she wear in the evening? Or what does he do for a living? Okay, what will he do for tomorrow's class? So in all the cases, do, does, and will do, all of them are separated from the verbs. Okay, so the tense is out of the verb. The verb is only in the bare form, where in the question sentences. But when it becomes a question clause, the same thing, when it becomes a question clause, when it becomes a part of a larger independent clause, then you do not separate the tense from the verb. Okay, the verb has to carry the tense in that case. So this is the thing that you need to remember about the use of question clause in a construction. Okay. Now we are going to look at if and whether. Okay. So if and whether, they're mostly straightforward. There are some rules with regards to how you use them in the construction, especially in the positioning, right? So we look at the questions now. 11th one, I think this is. I don't know whether Rita will come. I don't know whether Rita will come.
Right.
This is okay? Yeah, this is grammatically right. Okay. I don't know whether Rita will come. So remember, when you have whether as your conjunction, right, subordinating conjunction, if anything that follows whether is like a full sentence, okay, or anything that follows after that particular conjunction is a full clause, a complete clause, such as in this case, Rita will come, right? Rita will come as a complete sentence. So if this is the case, whatever follows this particular conjunction is a full sentence or a complete sentence, then you could either use whether or if. So essentially, you can say, I don't know whether Rita will come. This is also grammatically correct. And I don't know if Rita will come is also right. Okay. So if you have a full sentence or a complete sentence, grammatically complete sentence that follows the subordinating conjunction, then in the case of if and whether, you can use both. Okay. So I don't know if Rita will come. I don't know whether Rita will come. Right. So that is one rule associated with the use of the subordinating conjunctions if and whether. Okay. So if that is the case, look at sentence number 12. I do not know if Sanju is coming. Is this right?
This is correct. Right, ma'am.
Correct. Right. This is correct because Sanju is coming is a complete sentence, right? Come is a intransitive verb. It doesn't require an object. So Sanju is coming is a complete sentence. Hence, whether you say if or whether, both should be okay. I do not know if Sanju is coming is correct. I do not know whether Sanju is coming is also correct. Okay. Now, 13th one, I cannot decide whether I should buy this phone. Can you tell me if it is right or wrong? And also tell me why.
Ma'am, correct.
Correct,
This is a-
because why is this correct? In this session.
I cannot decide. Is a
Ah,
independent clause.
this would be right because, yeah, you're right. The answer is right. But why is it right?
Ma'am, which one?
Ma'am, all the
Because,
sentences are correct. Means,
sorry, what? I did not get your question.
ma'am, the embedded sentence is full and
Okay, so what follows the conjunction is basically a full or a complete sentence,
sentence.
right? It's I
Yes,
should
ma'am.
buy this phone. Henceforth, this is a correct sentence. So whether you use whether or if, it should be correct.
Yes.
Okay. Now, 14th one, I'm not sure if to get a new car. I'm not sure if to get a new car.
Uh, it is wrong, I think.
Ma'am, it is wrong.
This is
And
wrong. This is wrong because usually after
to
the
if
conjunction is you do
we
not
should
use.
not use to.
Yeah, we should not use.
To.
We should not use. It's not. We should not use to. It is basically that after this conjunction,
Noun.
if we are not supposed to use an infinitive form of the verb to
Yes,
get.
ma'am.
Okay, so it's not to, because when you say to, it's counted as a preposition, but not that. Here the case is that after if and whether you're not supposed to use, sorry, after if you are not supposed to use
Non-finite verbs.
infinitive verb, right? Which is infinitive is basically the to plus the bare form of the verb. To get, to listen, to play, to sit, to run, right? So infinitive form of the verbs are not allowed after if, but they're allowed after whether. So if you want to correct it, you would say, I'm not sure whether to get a new car. Okay, not I'm not sure if to get a new car. It is I'm not sure whether to get a new car. Okay. So no infinitives after if. Then 15th question. There are confusions about if the jury would rule in his favor.
Ma'am, correct.
This is incorrect again. That's not correct. But the reason is different from sentence number 14. So in sentence number 14, the problem was using infinitive verb to infinitive verb. 15th is wrong because you're not supposed to use if right after a preposition. So you have a preposition here about. Okay. So after if you shouldn't use the to infinitive, before if you shouldn't use prepositions. Okay. So if is the one that is a bit problematic, right? Most of the times, whether is more or less right in all the contexts. But when you use if, there are certain conditions like this. There's a third condition of which is related to if, right? Whether will not have that thing, but if has three conditions where it cannot be used. One condition is sentence 14, where you don't use to infinitive after if. Second is sentence 15, where you cannot use it, use if there is a preposition before it, right? And third condition is sentence 17. I'll tell you why that is wrong. Okay. So there are confusions about whether the jury would rule in his favor, there are confusions about if the jury is wrong, we say whether the jury would rule in his favor. Okay. 16th one, the problem is if or not, we can submit the proposal today. So yeah, sentence number 16, that is the third condition.
Ma'am, incorrect.
It's wrong, incorrect.
This is also wrong because if you have if in the sentence, no, then or not has to be at the end of the sentence. You cannot say if or not, but you can say whether or not. Okay. So if or not is a wrong construction. It's an unacceptable condition. Whether or not is more acceptable and grammatical. The problem is whether or not we can submit the proposal today. Okay, not if or not we can submit the proposal today. Now there is a situation where this can become right. Okay, only if the or not is moved to the end of the sentence. If I want to make the sentence grammatically correct, I have two methods. Sentence number 16. One is to change if to whether and retain the position of or not. Okay, problem is whether or not. Second way is to change the position. I can retain if, but I will have to change the position of or not. So the problem is if we can submit the proposal today or not. Okay. So two right options available, either change if to whether or change the position of or not to the end of the sentence. All right. But why do you think would this be a problem? Why are we saying that, we can just change to whether and we cannot use if? There should be some fundamental difference between these two, right? Which makes it wrong. What is that? Can you guess, at least if you know the meaning or the use of if and whether? I think you should be able.
Then, if we should use if only one condition is there, but if two condition is there, we should use either. Whether.
Whether.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, maybe that's one way of looking at it, but more importantly, whether is usually used for presenting alternatives. If do we use to present alternative? No, right? If is usually used to introduce a condition. Okay, so if you remember conditional clauses, they always begin with if, right? But whether is not a conditional conjunction that is usually used to provide alternative, which is why saying whether or not is fine. Okay, because you're only giving options. You're basically directing people towards an alternative. But if cannot be used for that purpose, because if is not used for that purpose, if is usually used to express a condition and not to provide an alternative. Okay, that is the basic difference between these two. Okay, so even meaning wise, it is wrong to use them. It's not just grammatical, but meaning wise also it's wrong to use if in such a situation. Okay. Okay, so 17th one is it is unclear whether the chief guest would reach on time or not. Is this okay?
It is okay, ma'am. It is
This is
correct.
okay, right? So you can use whether or if, and in sentences where or not is put at the end, only with if you cannot use it along with it, right? If it is far away from the conjunction if or whether, then it doesn't really matter. So you could either say it is unclear if the chief guest would reach on time or not. It is unclear whether the chief guest would reach on time or not. Both would be correct. The difference is if you're using if, then it just makes the sentence a little informal, a little less formal. If you're using whether, then it sounds a bit more formal. That's the only difference. Okay. Grammatically, they'll be fine. Now, 18th one, it is not clear if the president's cavalcade would cross the street or not.
No, it's wrong.
This is correct, grammatically correct. And then is it a formal version or an informal or a less formal version?
Less formal.
Less formal.
Version, yeah? Less formal way of putting this. Okay. Okay, now comes, so if and whether is that three conditions for if, and then the formal and informal difference between use of whether and if, when or not is removed at the end of the sentence. Now the next few constructions, they are basically about the positioning of adverbs in a sentence, right? So we know adverbs are a fluid category. They could appear at various positions in the sentence. However, there are positions where they cannot be included, or there are positions in a sentence where adverbs or their presence would become ungrammatical, right? So sentence Number 19, he sent quickly the file to the office. He sent quickly the file to the office. Is this right or wrong?
Wrong.
Okay. So what should be the right way of writing it then?
Quickly towards the end.
Add quickly to the end of the sentence. Is that the right construction for the first one? He sent the file to the office quickly. Yeah, that is correct, right? So if you're doing that, then we should know that the emphasis, whenever you push an adverb towards the end of a sentence, what we are trying to say is that the emphasis is on the adverb itself. So how was this done? So if you're putting quickly at the end of the sentence, if you're placing it there, then the emphasis on quickly, right? How was it done? So that is one correct way of doing it. What's the other correct way of doing it?
He quickly sent.
He quickly sent the file. So either you move quickly to the end of the sentence or you say he quickly sent the file to the office. And this is the more natural order in English, right? So adverbs always precede the main verb in a standard English sentence, right? The position of adverbs naturally, if you're talking about the natural order of its appearance in an English sentence, it always precedes the main verb. Okay. He quickly sent the file to the office, and quickly can also appear at the end of the sentence, depending on the emphasis part. If you want to emphasize on quickly, then it has to be kept at the or placed at the end of the sentence. Two possible ways of correcting that sentence. Then 20th one, he sent to us his CV.
Ma'am, it's wrong, ma'am.
He sent to us his CV. So now this is again, so this one is about the placement of direct and indirect object, right? So send is what? This is a ditransitive verb. It has two objects, direct and indirect objects, right? Something like I gave a flower to my mother. Okay, so what is my direct object here?
Ma'am, is CV, ma'am.
Direct object is, okay, in this sentence it is his
CV.
CV. Yeah,
His
his
CV.
CV. He sent his CV is your direct object, and indirect is to us. Okay. So in
Ma'am,
English, what is the
subject,
natural order?
verb, object, and then
That is correct. So in between the direct and the indirect object,
He
what
sent
is
us.
the
he
he sent? Sorry,
he
go ahead.
sent his CV to us, ma'am.
He sent us. Maybe.
Or maybe he sent us his CV.
He sent us his CV is correct. That is when we are removing the preposition here, right? So
Or we can
in that
use,
case, it's okay. With the preposition,
he sent his CV to us.
he sent his CV to us, right? So in this case, if you're using it with a preposition, if your indirect object comes with a preposition, then it has to go towards the end, right? It will follow your direct object if it is with a preposition. So he sent his CV to us. He sent his CV to us. Okay, so in cases where indirect objects carry a preposition, they have to follow the direct object. Okay, if it doesn't come with a preposition, then it precedes the direct object, which is the case in 21. He sent us his CV. Okay, and how will you correct the 20th one? You can do it in two ways. One is the 21st sentence, he sent us his CV. Alternatively, you say he sent his CV to us. Okay. Now, okay, I think 22nd, 3rd, and 4th all are the same thing, placement of direct, indirect objects. So let's look at them. He told us that he had an urgent meeting with the client. He told to us that he had an urgent meeting with the client. He told that he had an urgent meeting to attend to us. Okay. So which among these three sentences are right? He told us that he had an urgent meeting with the client. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, it is okay.
Yeah, this is okay because look at the placement. Direct object is what? That he had an urgent meeting with the client, right? He told that he had an urgent meeting with the client, and us is your indirect object. So that's in the right position. So whenever you have it without a preposition, then the indirect object precedes the direct object. He told us that he had an urgent meeting with the client. Then 23rd, he told to us that he had an urgent meeting with the client. That is wrong,
No, ma'am.
right? That is not the right way of writing it. Yeah. So you could basically write, he told that he had an urgent meeting with the client to us. Okay. Then in that case, it would be okay. Then the last one, he told that he had an urgent meeting to attend to us. Right or wrong?
Wrong.
Why?
Because of to us, I think.
So to us is your indirect object. What is a direct object? That he had an urgent
Ma'am,
meeting to attend,
indirect,
right? That is,
indirect speech, indirect is he told that.
that he had an urgent meeting to attend. This is the direct object.
Yes.
So from what I see, they are in order. So if it's a preposition, then we said that
He said
indirect
that.
object has to follow the direct, right?
Yes, ma'am. He said that he had an urgent meeting to attend.
He told that he had an urgent meeting to attend. No, why are you changing the sentence? We are not allowed to change the sentence. We're just required to rearrange the various chants. That's all. He told that he had an urgent meeting to attend to us. You look at sentence
Ma'am,
number
ma'am, also it is correct.
20th, no? So you'll understand it.
Ma'am, it is correct.
It's just that this one has like a subordinate clause instead of a single entity as direct object, like in the case of 22. Okay. The rules don't change because the size of the sentence or the clause changes. It's the same, right? So told he had an urgent meeting to attend is that he told, that he had an urgent meeting to attend is your direct object. To us is your indirect object. And by rule, if there is a preposition associated with the indirect object, then it needs to follow the direct object. So this is correct. The sentence is right. 24th one is a correct sentence. Okay. Right. Okay, I think it's already 4:58, but okay. We can spend another 10 minutes, I guess. Shouldn't be a problem. Do you have another class?
No.
Okay. If that's a problem, we can continue in the next session. That's not a problem. This is on finite and infinite clauses. Let's do one thing. We'll do it for the next class. I don't think we'll be able to finish it in 10 minutes. So I need to discuss a little bit on both grammatical subject also and finiteness. So we'll continue with this worksheet in the next class. And if you are able to finish it in half an hour, we'll take up the next one. Okay. Okay. All right. Any questions?
Ma'am, we
Anything
can
that is
finish,
confusing?
finite and infinite clause, ma'am.
Sorry?
We have a time, ma'am. We can finish finite, at least finite and infinite clause.
No. Because I need to discuss a little bit on finiteness and grammatical subjects. So I don't think we'll be able to finish it in 10 minutes. I might need another at least half an hour to do that. So we'll take it up next week and then we can continue with the other worksheet. I think it should be on passive voice or something. That is easier. So that wouldn't take more than half an hour. So we'll carry this over there. I want you to spend some time on this finite and non-finite. Okay. Any question that you have from what we did today? So question clauses, if and whether clauses. That clauses we'll take up when we prominently we'll do it when we are discussing grammatical subject. But position of the adverbs, position of the direct and indirect objects in case you have ditransitive verbs. question clause construction, if and whether, grammatical usage. Is that clear? Are they all clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So if you have any more questions,
So the infinite and finite clauses are not going to come in quiz 2.
yeah, I think you have week
Yes,
1 to 8, right? So this is a part of that. I think you'll definitely have
That
questions.
actually I just wanted to finish it because we have a quiz in this coming Sunday. Quiz 2.
Oh, you have a quiz on, that's okay. It's not that big a deal also. Finiteness we already did while we were looking at the clauses. Remember the last session that we did on clause, we did discuss what is finiteness and non-finiteness. So in case you want to take a look at it, maybe quickly look at that lecture. Okay, it's basically the difference of tense and without tense. I remember discussing this while we were doing that. So that shouldn't be a problem. Okay. But have you, if you've understood mostly the question clause and the if and whether clause, it should be more or less okay. That clause also not very difficult. It's basically just looking at whether the given, the only thing I want you to keep in mind is the one which I already discussed with you, this particular question, right? A lot of people, what do they do is in this kind of question, they would just take the whole of this part as the subject. Okay. So if you're asked what is the subject of this sentence, the answer is the idea. Okay. Not the idea that we should register for the conference. Okay. The idea alone is your subject. What you see here is a subordinate clause which is associated with the subject, but it is not about the subject, right? So this is not an adjectival clause. This is a different kind of a clause. It is not giving any additional information about the subject. This particular clause and the subject is one and the same. Okay. Can you see that in the sentence? The idea and the subordinate clause that we should register for the conference, they are one and the same, right? So I could either say the idea is good, or I could even say that we should register for the conference is good. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So if you, if that is the case, then what I'm trying to say is that the idea and the subordinate clause that we should register for the conference, they're one and the same. So that we should register for the conference, that particular part is not an adjectival clause. Okay. It becomes an adjectival clause only when you're giving additional information about the subject. But this is not an additional information. This stands in the place of the subject, right? Let me give you an example. I think that would be, I'll give you an example for adjectival clause. That will make it easier for you to understand. Okay. So this one is the idea that we should register for the conference. Sorry, where is it? Conference is good. Okay. Adjectival clause. Based on this. So if this is the example, let's see. I'll put both of them alongside so that you can compare and understand them. The conference is good. This is first one. And then you have the second one. Let me add to it the idea that we should register for the conference, which was proposed by the professor, is good. Okay, now look at these two sentences. It's in your chat. The idea that we should register for the conference is good. The idea that we should register for the conference, which was proposed by the professor, is good. Do you see the difference? So you have added one additional subordinate clause here. Which one is that? I've added an additional subordinate clause here. Which one is that?
Ma'am, what you have asked, please repeat it once again.
What is the additional subordinate clause that I have added to the second sentence?
Which is asked by the professor, I think.
Which
Which
was
is
proposed by the professor.
proposed by the professor.
Now, if you compare these two, that we should register for the conference and which was proposed by the professor, which one is adding information, which one is standing for the idea?
Ma'am, second
Ma'am,
one is
second one-
standing for the idea, and first one is giving only information.
So you're basically saying I can also say which was proposed by the professor is good. Is it? If I remove the word idea, the idea, okay, then if you're saying which was proposed by the professor is the one that can stand alone, then you're basically telling me I remove the idea and then say which was proposed by the professor is good is a good sentence. Is that true?
No, ma'am.
So then that is not standing alone. No, this is dependent on the subject, the idea. The idea which was proposed by the professor is good, right? In this one, which was proposed by the professor is good, you cannot take it out independently.
Yes, ma'am.
But we can take out that we should register for the conference is good as a separate this thing, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So then, which was proposed by the professor is what? It's an adjectival clause
Adjectival
because it is
clause.
associated with the subject.
Yes, ma'am.
So I could even say the idea which was proposed by the professor is good. That is grammatically correct. I can also say the idea which was proposed by the professor is good, right? Both are grammatical, which means that we should register for the conference is not an adjectival clause. It is something that can stand in the place of the subject itself. They are both co-indexed or related to each other. Okay. That is what I try to say, that these are two different types of clauses. Only which was proposed by the professor is an adjectival one. That we should register for the conference is not an adjectival clause. I'm not telling you the name of that clause because I do not think that it is a part of your syllabus, right? It has a name, but we're not taking it up. Because we are discussing the identification of subject, you will have a question on that in the exam. Identify the subject in the sentence. I'm trying to draw your attention to how you should pick it up.
I'm sorry to interrupt, ma'am. Can you repeat that sentence again, ma'am?
The sentence is in your chat, Vishwajit.
No. I mean, you were explaining something. I just lost the connection, ma'am, while you were explaining that thing.
Yeah,
Between
I'm saying that in the
sentences.
sentence, the idea that we should register for the conference. Can you see the
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
sentence
I'm
in the
seeing
chat
that,
at
ma'am.
least? Okay. So in that sentence, now you tell me, instead of I going on, on this, you tell me which part in that second sentence, okay? The idea that we should register for the conference, which is proposed by the professor is good. Which subordinate clause can you, do you think can stand on its own? If I take out the word idea, if I take out the word the idea from that sentence, which among the two subordinate clauses can stand on its own?
Ma'am, that we should register for the conference.
Right? So that the other one cannot because it's an adjectival clause and it's basically an additional information provided about the noun, the idea. But that we should register for the conference is something that is co-indexed or it is related to the idea or it stands for the phrase, the idea itself. Okay. So this is the difference. So if you look at this question and if someone asks you what is the subject of the sentence, then you're only going to say the idea, not the idea that we should register for the conference. Okay? Because that we should register for the conference is something that is an optional subordinate clause. I can remove it from the sentence and still I can have a grammatical sentence. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
But in the case of which was proposed by the professor, that's not the case, right? So if I have to use it, I'll have to use it with the word idea. I cannot use it on its own. So I have to say the idea which was proposed by the professor is good. I can't say which was proposed by the professor is good. So this is a diagnostic test to understand whether the clause that follows the subject is associated with the subject, or is it the subject itself. If it is the subject itself, then it is not counted when you're picking out the subject, right? Because you can remove that sentence and still have the sentences grammatical. But if it is something that serves as an additional information about the subject, which is the case with the subordinate clause, which was proposed by the professor, then you take that along with the subject. Okay. Is it confusing? I think it is confusing. Okay. So the idea that we should register for the conference, in that sentence, if you're asked to pick out the subject of the sentence, then your subject is only the idea, not the idea that we should register for the conference. Okay. That whole part will not become your subject, only the idea is your subject. But if the sentence is the idea which was proposed by the professor is good, then what is your subject?
The idea which was proposed by the professor.
Okay. So in this case, I'm just writing it. You're right. Neetu, you're right. I'm just writing it for the sake of people who are probably confused. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. So in this sentence, please look at your chat. I'm writing it down in case anyone's making notes. So in the sentence, the idea which was proposed by the professor is good. Your subject is the idea which was proposed by the professor. Is that fine? Now, if your sentence is this, okay, oh, sorry. Instead, if your sentence is the idea that we should register for the conference is good, then the subject here is the idea, not the idea that we should register for the conference. Okay. And you should know the reasons behind them also, because one is an adjectival clause. It has to be always associated with the noun. You cannot separate it out from that. But the other one is basically something that can stand in the place of the subject itself. So that doesn't become a part of the selection. Okay. If it is something that can replace the subject, then that is not associated along with the subject when you're choosing the subject out. But if it is an additional information like an adjectival clause in the previous sentence, then it also becomes the part of the subject itself. Clear? All right.
Yes.
Neetu and Vishwajit and Varun and everyone else, Jagannath.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Clear, right? Okay. Okay, so that's all. I think this this should have been one confusing part for you, but rest of it is fine. For this finite and non-finite thing, I think you can refer to the previous recording on the clauses that we have had. We have discussed it there. It's basically finite and non-finite means if the verb has a tense on it, if the clause carries a verb which has a tense, then it is finite. If the verb doesn't have any tense in it, then it is a non-finite clause. Okay, that's all. That discussion I think we already had in that lecture, so you can refer to that. Okay, so please revise this part. I think you'll definitely have a few questions in this one. So revise them, and if you still have any questions and confusions, please write. Okay, please write to us in the forum. And tomorrow there's also live session, so you can maybe attend that as well. Okay. All right then. We'll.
Ma'am, recordings are not available for recent sessions.
So today they'll upload it only after the sessions are done, right? So today's we'll inform them to upload it today itself. So just check tomorrow before 5 p.m. If it is not updated, please join in the session and let us know. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, tomorrow's
Well,
session also the recordings are not available.
Tomorrow's session hasn't
even
happened.
I
No,
just
has to
wanted to
happen.
discuss about it, ma'am.
Ma'am, the previous sessions for
Previous sessions. Okay,
yes,
we'll check.
ma'am. For
We'll check and we'll let
okay,
them know. Okay,
okay.
sure. Okay, all right. See you. Mm,
Ma'am, I have one more question to ask
yeah, go ahead.
from mock quiz one.
Yeah,
Ma'am,
yeah.
ma'am, what is prefixes?
Prefixes. Haven't you watched the lectures on prefix and suffix? I think second week or so you have a lecture.
Ma'am, I think I have missed.
No, you do. That I'm pretty sure you have lectures on morphemes, bound and free morphemes. I'm pretty sure suffix and prefix is explained there.
Okay, ma'am, I will check.
Yeah, please do check.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Okay, see you then. We'll see tomorrow. In case you have any questions, please come to the live session as well. And the recordings we'll ask the group to update them by tomorrow for sure. Okay. I mean, it should be up by tomorrow. Please check it, and by 5, if you don't see, please join in the session and let us know. Okay, see you all.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sure.